Hey, it's Tommy with Better Time. And as you can see, the sun is now really starting to come in. But I got more Seikos, people. It is a Seiko Automatic Friday here at a Better Time. This next one, a really beautiful gray dial. And this, when you think Seiko Automatic, this is probably the one that comes to mind. I mean, not necessarily this dial, but this shape. This is the Seiko Automatic that really kind of made him famous. This is the same case shape design day date that they carried into the Quartz line, but this one is automatic. It's a 17 jewel movement with a day date. The feature is at the 3 o'clock, as it always is with Seiko. And this is in great shape. It has the original strap, even the clasp. Never really saw a whole lot of action. You can see some small scratching on there, but very, very little. As far as band stretch goes, it's got some. But, I mean, I've seen considerably worse when you start to think about the fact that, this is a vintage timepiece. You're looking at something from, I would have to run the date. Chances are we've got it listed. But by the look of it, I would say that this is late 70s, maybe early 80s. Gorgeous watch and a workhorse. People, I know, the watch snobs, it's not Swiss. It is a mechanical wristwatch that will serve you ridiculously well. You want a daily wear watch that you can put on and it's just going to keep running forever. Service the thing every 4 or 5 years, have somebody just take a look at the movement. Perfectly honest, there are people that buy these things and put them on. I see them all the time where, someone will ask you to take a look at it and you'll say, when was the last time it was serviced? I don't think I've ever had it serviced. I mean, they really are the kind of watch that can run forever that way. However, I don't care what kind of watch you buy. About every 5 years, right, you're supposed to have that thing serviced where they just go in, take a look at it, maybe do a little cleaning, make sure that it's lubed correctly, because with a jeweled movement, a little bit of lubrication on the points where the metal meets the jewel, and these things will run for an eternity. Rolex for the longest time said every 3 years you're supposed to get the back off and have the thing serviced. They just recently switched that to once every 5 years. I'm not sure whether or not that has something to do with some of the parachrome. Is that what they say, that parachrome? The New Balance wheels are made of a different material. It may be because the lubrication is getting a whole lot better. People, if you go back far enough, it was you were using oil made from whales, right? From the fat of whales that they rendered into an oil. But obviously with the synthetics that they're using now, really is becoming a much better product, and it ain't cheap. Boy, I hate buying it. Those little perfumes that your girl gets that are about this big and it's got the little plastic thing on the top? That's how we buy the oils come like that, the synthetics, and they're really expensive even for those little things. On the bright side, it takes very, very little of it, which reminds me, for those of you who try to service your own watch, if you put tons of oil in, right, if you really oil the hell out of the watch, you're actually not doing yourself a service. You're more likely to damage the watch than not. And every once in a while, we will see one that looks like somebody just sort of dumped a bottle of oil in it. And that's a nightmare. That stuff gunks up. Once it gunks up, it starts doing damage. And then we've got to completely do a tear down where we take the entire thing apart, soak everything in an ultrasonic cleaner, and put it all back together. And when that happens, now you're looking at a far more expensive servicing. And on some vintage, it's one of the reasons that vintage watches are disappearing is because a service sometimes may cost you more than what the value of the watch is. And if you love vintage, really, you should do everything you can to keep these watches alive. If you knew the number of watches that are in landfills, beautiful watches that people threw out because they didn't want to pay to get them serviced, or worse yet, people who melt down precious metals. In the town that I live in, I was talking to a guy because he had listed a couple of watches for sale, pocket watches. And we sell some pocket watches in the store, but I have a thing for them. So, it's a really beautiful opportunity to see a very large movement and really watch it work. And they're fun to work on because everything is considerably larger. But this guy told me that on an average month, he melts down about 300 pocket watches a month. And very oftentimes those movements just get tossed. Nobody cares. It's about the gold weight or the silver weight. And people, what silver's worth? I mean, honestly, for what an ounce of silver is, you're taking in a beautifully handmade watch and just destroying it. Tell you what, there should be, everybody should be really into sort of the preservation of all things horology. I don't know, that's my opinion. And it's the right one. Sorry, it really is. So take care of these things and they will last you a lifetime. Yours, your sons, your daughters, whatever the case may be. So we have this listed at $150. You can make us an offer. What can you get today, brand new for $150? You're going to get a mass-produced chunk of poop. It's going to have a battery. It probably doesn't have one jewel, and that should end up in a landfill because that's what they're made for. They're disposable. This watch will serve you for a eternity if you take care of it. $150 Seiko automatic day-date stainless steel bracelet. You can make us an offer. I'm Tommy with a better time, and we'll see you on the next watch. God bless.